Quick video is just to go over what I talked about in class the other day. When it's asked you to describe the uh, the shape of a distribution, as we went over this example in class the other day, um, when it asks you to comment on the distribution, you're going to basically look at your histogram, or you can even look at your box and whisker, and you're going to be able to say, okay, if the data looks like it's evenly spread out, a majority of your data is in the middle of everything, a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, then it's known as being symmetric. And the box and whisker will look symmetric as well. The median will be located in the middle of your box. Your whiskers, everything is even, making it symmetric. Then you have positively skewed, where majority of your data is at the beginning and it kind of thins out at the end. Your box and whisker, as you can see, the whisker on the left is a lot shorter than the whisker on the right, and your median is more to the left of your box. This is an example of being positively skewed. And then here, if it's the opposite, where your data is more at the end versus at the beginning, and the median of your box and whisker is more to the right of in your box. And again, if your whisker on the left is a lot longer than your whisker on the right, then it's known as negatively skewed. Okay, and so you can use these words to describe your distribution of your histogram. And I know these pictures basically represent different types of diagrams. This is just a regular bar graph over here in the pink. The yellow is actually a histogram, and then these dots here. This is called a dot plot. Basically, it still represents your data. So all these could be histograms, and they still will be described in the same format. Okay, this right here should be your updated descriptive statistics table of contents. So if you need to, go ahead and pause this video so that way you can get this information down. And then the next slide is basically going to describe pages 55 through 57. So on page 55, you're going to create a cumulative frequency curve for both of your heights and shoe size of data that you collected, a couple of weeks ago, that we basically have been doing bit by bit with. I gave out centimeter graph paper, and so make sure that you label your axes for both, and make sure you have a smooth curve drawn when you connect your points. Remember, cumulative frequency curves, you use the upper boundaries and then your cumulative frequency from your frequency distribution tables that you did before. On page 56, you're going to find the measures of central tendency for both your heights and your shoe sizes. You're going to find your mean by hand. Okay, you're going to find your mean by hand using your frequency distribution tables, and you're going to find your standard deviation that you're going to do in your with your calculator. Also on page 56, you're going to create a box and whisker plot. I doubt that your cumulative frequency curves are going to take up that entire centimeter paper that I gave you. And so what I want you to do is I want you to use part of that graph paper to basically make your box and whisker plot so they can be nice and symmetric. And you don't have to try to hand draw the box and whisker. You actually have the nice lines of the centimeter paper to draw it for you. So you're going to do that for both your heights and your shoe sizes. Make sure you label your axis. Remember, it's an x-axis that's labeled, and please make sure you clearly indicate your information. I shouldn't have to be struggling to try to find out where your median is or where your Q1 is, and so on and so forth. Make sure if you need to, use a different color or something, so that way I can see exactly where your lines are occurring. Okay. And then on page 57, this is where you're going to take a page and you're just going to reflect on just this experience overall. Where there, if you could redo this project again, is there anything that you would do differently? When you were collecting your data, was there anything that you feel that could have altered your data? Or mess with the results or anything like that, that's the time for you to comment there. Is there anything that you notice about, is there a similarity between your histograms, your cumulative frequency curves, your box and whisker? I just went over, how a histogram can be distributed. So, maybe even comment on that. Is it positively skewed? Is it negatively skewed? Is it symmetric? With your box and whisker, is it, what basically, this is a time for you to recognize any similarities, anything you notice about the data. Was there anything that you had expected to happen, or expected to be a result of just by looking at the raw data? Anything. You're basically going to take page 57 and you basically are going to reflect. Please make sure that you write in complete sentences. This is not bullet points of any kind. It's this should be in paragraph format. If you want to do multiple paragraphs, that's fine. One paragraph, that's fine as well. But please use complete sentences. And there is no right or wrong answer here. Okay, it really is. What do you see? What are your reflections about this? It can be typed if you prefer it handwritten. It is up to you. Okay, but that's going to basically kind of bring us to like a halfway point with this data. We are going to be using this data in the next unit because we're still going to be continuing statistics. And so this is kind of a summary of the descriptive statistics part. So if you have any questions, please make sure you let me know.